Welcome to Make a Path Presents. My name's Ronnie Hayes, and today, let's talk The Walking Dead, Season 6, Episode 15, Predictions. Alright guys, to start this off, I do want to mention that in the last episode, it cut off for me. Right before Carol said her last sentence, the screen actually cut in half and it showed me the bottom corner. It was weird, and then it immediately played the coming preview. So I had to go on Amazon. I rewatched the episode this morning and I watched the ending, and what I missed, if you guys missed it too, and it's important for the predictions, what I missed is it zoomed in on Morgan, who was no longer working out or training, and that's important because they show him training in the beginning of the episode, so it shows that something's on his mind. You know, he's thinking about something, he's preoccupied about something, and then it showed he turns around and they're wheeling all the ammunition, all the guns and everything, and so obviously that's on his mind. And then he looks forward and they zoom in on him, and you can hear they raise the volume of the swinging back and forth, the swing that Carol was swinging on. So that, I think, is very strong possible evidence that Morgan has Carol on the mind. He has the coming war with the Saviors on the mind, and since we saw him on the horse on the poster or the promo image, most likely he's going to leave Alexandria, possibly going to look for Carol. Now, with that out of the way, I'm going to show you images of stuff from the trailer. Let's break it down real quick and then we'll discuss what we see after. Alright, so first thing first, we see that Tobin gives Carol's note to Rick. Then we see Tobin and Rick walking and talking about when Carol left and what Tobin knows. We see some establishing shots of what I believe to be out front of Alexandria. This is most likely going to be just establishing shots when they open the episode. I don't think this is anybody that's actually hurt. I think they're going to open the episode from this bloody establishing shot, the tires, whatever, and zoom into the Rick and Michonne in bed eating an apple. And this is the preview they showed for the scene coming up where they're talking about Glenn and Michonne are helping Maggie put up some posts or lookout spots, I think she said. Something like that. And Rick wants to get it on, and Michonne is like, no, I do not want to piss off the pregnant lady. And Rick is like, no, you sure don't. Especially not that pregnant woman. Next up, we see Daryl at the gates, and then we see Daryl's leaving. Now, Rosita's right there, so it leaves me to believe, since we saw that they show a scene, I think it's in the last episode, where Rosita takes over guarding the gate for another person. Now, I'm thinking that maybe she's guarding the gate, Daryl comes up there, and since Daryl and Rosita were both there with Denise, Daryl's like, listen, Rosita, I'm going out there, whoop-de-whoop, this, that, and a third. And I think maybe Rosita supports him. Now, he might tell her he's going at this alone, and that's why she stays back. Or maybe she doesn't want to go out. I'm not sure, but I think most likely, if I had to put money on it, he tells her, do not follow me, I'm going to do this alone. Next, we see Glenn, Michonne, and Maggie, and Glenn is like, what the hell is he doing? Most likely, this is him talking about Daryl leaving. Next in the trailer, we see Rosita and Glenn looking down. Now, because Glenn looks up at Rosita, and later on Glenn says something to Rosita, I think Rosita and Glenn are actually looking at a body now. Now, this body could be a savior. I think that's a very strong possibility because he's all bloody and gory. Now, if it's not a fresh savior that Daryl recently killed, then it might be a walker that Daryl recently put down. But I do believe that's evidence because Glenn, Rosita, and Michonne, at the moment, I believe, are out looking for Daryl. Because next we see that Michonne finds Daryl's bike. And then we see Michonne's happy face for finding Daryl's bike. Next we get Glenn and Rosita talking, and Glenn says Daryl is going to get himself killed. Now, Glenn gave that look to Rosita. Rosita's looking down at the corpse there. Michonne finds his bike. Rosita was at the gate when Daryl was leaving, so this leads me to believe that Rosita is fine with Daryl going out there. Rosita wants them dead. Rosita's pissed about Denise's death. It's troubled her. She's acting bitchy, and Glenn is like, Rosita, Daryl's gonna get himself killed. You can't possibly support this. We need to find him. Whoop-de-whoop, this, that, and a third. I think that's how that plays out. And I do believe that they're tracking Daryl Daryl is tracking Carol, and Glenn, Michonne, and Rosita are tracking Daryl. And I believe that their tracking leads them to him hiding his bike under the bushes or under the trees right next to that kill, which, now that I'm thinking about it, if that is a savior, most likely he wouldn't hide his motorcycle by the evidence, by the body. So that's most likely a walker, now that I think about that. Next, we see Tobin and Rick at the gates, and Rick says no one else leaves. Now, we do know Daryl left in the preview, but did Morgan leave too? Because if Morgan is there at the end of the last episode, and you can tell that something is weighing on his mind, and he and Carol had that interaction with the wolf, and he is responsible for Carol's actions now. You guys know what I'm saying, but Morgan started that. Morgan planted that seed in Carol's mind that's grown so much so that it forced her to leave again. Damn, I'm saying these words wrong. You guys know what I'm saying. I'm not saying Morgan's at fault. I'm just saying Morgan put the seed in her head. So is it possible that Morgan left too? If Carol snuck out, Rick and Tobin are going to the gates, they find out that Daryl just left. Rick could be pissed and say, you know what, that's it, no one else leaves. Or it could be Morgan left, Daryl left, and Rick is pissed like that is it, no one else leaves. It's kind of a cheat to pick both, but I'm saying it could be one or the other. Daryl could go after Carol, or Morgan and Daryl could separately go after Carol. Now, Morgan's on a horse, which is suspicious because off the top of my head, I don't remember any horses in Alexandria. For some reason, I'm not thinking of that. So, I could be wrong. I gotta go back and look at that picture. I'm drawing a complete blank on the horses at Alexandria, so maybe Morgan found one on the road. I don't know. Comment below and help me out on that, because I'm drawing a blank. The next image we see is Sasha in the shitty replacement tower. I'm not happy about this. Not only am I not happy about this, but I think it's shit. It's horrible. There's no protection. Their sniper, their guard, is standing there out in the open. Somebody could take a clear shot. You can have some kind of wall with something that they could look out. Anything. Something she can stand behind for cover. For the love of God, anything. It just looks like a shit setup right now. They should have something thick that bullets can't penetrate easily for her to duck behind in case anyone just decides to jump out of a bush and shoot her to pieces. Next image is Carl in the gun room, and then he picks up a pistol. This is most likely just him reflecting on going to war, or something else is going on. I don't think it's anything huge at the moment. But yeah, that is interesting. What the hell is he doing there? I don't think he has any reason to be there. I mean, he's got a gun, right? Why the hell would he need to be in there? I don't know. Maybe that gun that he's holding is the one that took his eye out. Maybe. That'd be crazy. I just thought about that. That would be tough. I don't know why I just thought about that, but that shit would be tough because obviously they would clean up Alexandria and pick up all the weapons. So is Carl holding the gun that took his eye out? Give me your thoughts and opinions down below. And the last thing we see in the trailer is Glenn tells Michonne, the world's not what we thought it was. It's bigger. And I think that not only has to do with the saviors, but I think that has to do with life in general. Not only it being bigger, meaning there's more threats, maybe the saviors are bigger, but I do believe that Glenn is saying there's more hope out there in the world to come united and have a community, a civilization where we could raise a child at, where we can have a family at. I think he's talking on a positive note with hints of the negative, you know what I mean? Being the saviors are bigger as well as the world, the communities, and all that. So I think he's saying a mouthful right there in the one line. Alright, that's all we got in the trailer, so let's go to what we know. We know for a fact Daryl is out there looking for Carol, and we can kind of guess that Glenn, Michonne, and Rosita are out tracking Daryl, again to find Carol. Morgan might also possibly be out looking for Carol as well, or he might just be going out on his own to find these saviors. I don't know, the guy's got some big balls, so who knows. You can either call it balls or stupidity, but he's got some of both. Daryl knows that Dwight and those guys are the saviors because of what Dwight said. You guys set the tone, you guys da-da-da-da. Normally we kill someone right off the bat, maximum impact or whatever the hell he says. Daryl knows this, so most likely he has told Rick and the others. I hope he didn't let that slide. That's an important detail. So Daryl and the others know there's more saviors out there, at least this gang of them, you know? And Glenn, Michonne, and Rosita are most likely going to have to stay pretty cautious, even though they don't look that cautious on the other side of the wall in the trailer, so that's a little disturbing there. They don't look like they have their guard up per se. Now, here's something we gotta wonder. Why the hell is Carol leaving? Now, I've heard two opinions. One opinion says that Carol is leaving and she's using it as a disguise, and she's gonna go to the Saviors and either kill them or infiltrate them. And the other option, or the other opinion I should say, is that Carol does not want to kill. She is telling the truth. And I agree with the second one. I think she is telling the truth. I don't think this is a trick to get into the Saviors, hang out or become them, infiltrate them. I mean, she might end up doing that. I can see her getting caught or taken or something. However, we're going to talk about Carol leaving probably in another video. It's something that rubs me the wrong way. I feel like a shitty, selfish thing for her to do. She can't kill anymore, so she's going to leave her people, the people she claims to love. She's going to leave them when they need her the most. They are facing an enemy out there, and she might not know how great this enemy is, how powerful this enemy is right yet, but it's still shitty that she's going to just walk away from them. So at this moment, Carol is kind of on my shit list. I think it's repulsive that she decided to do this instead of sticking it out at least until the Savior threat is gone completely. So bad timing, Carol. You must have got your bad timing from Abraham. Now, something we got to ask ourselves is, will everyone find each other by the end of this episode? Will Glenn and his gang find Daryl? Will Daryl find Carol? Will everyone find each other by the end of the episode? And this is important because this will lead us into the season finale, which I hear is a 90-minute. I don't know if they confirmed that. I haven't looked into that. I'll talk about that with that prediction video. Two more things we gotta ask ourselves is, what the hell is the point? What is the point of this episode? What's the point of Carol leaving? What's the point of our group going out looking for her? And also, the second thing, will Alexandria be attacked? In the comic, they were kind of sort of attacked when Eugene bit Dwight in the dick. So will they do something similar to that, just not have the dick biting scene at the same time? That's pretty much all I got for this prediction video. I do want to say, now that the season is coming to a close, it's very important that we all be extra cautious in the comments section. Now, normally I say, hey, go at it, just be careful, whoop-de-whoop, but from here on out, until the end of the season finale, be extra cautious in the comments section. Some of you might even want to skip the comments section altogether. I'm not mad at you. I'm most likely gonna, be skipping a lot of the comments and very carefully reading certain ones. If you go down in the comments and you read them, just word at a time, because I'm a speed reader. When I go down, I'll look at the middle of a sentence and I read the entire sentence like in one shot. I don't know. That's how I learned how to read. So I just look down, sentence. So I can read a whole paragraph in a split second, and it's too late. I'll get it spoiled. So what I do is I just look at the first word, second word, third word. By that time, I know 100% if it's going to be a comment I should be reading or not. So keep it out there. Read slower. It helps a lot. Especially for the spoilers. So do your best to avoid those. Please do not post spoilers here. We're not interested in that. But now it's your turn for your opinions, thoughts, predictions, and theories down in that comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn. Subscribe now.